when I went home at Christmas that year. And as soon as I got off of that bus, reality hit me. And I remember my dad, he said, "I have some exciting news for you, Tommy." I said, "What's that?" He said, "I sold your car." I read the blue book at VMI and it said you couldn't have cars, so I just signed the title. I said, "Dad, that didn't mean in the world, it just meant in Lexington and Rockbridge County." Oh boy. He says, "I got some more news for you, Tommy." He says, "We've sold our home and we've bought a trailer." I thought, boy, this is going in a direction I didn't anticipate. So I get home, and so I call my girlfriend. She says, "You need to come over and talk to me." "I'll be right over." She says, "Tommy, you've been gone since August, and I found a new boyfriend." I said, "Boy, talk about a trifecta here." I ended up at VMI in a rather circuitous manner. Originally, I had been offered a football scholarship to go to the College of William and Mary. I was the first person in my family to go to college, so there was a lot of expectation on my performance. I remember my father said, "You're going to college to get an education, not to play football." My father was a retired Army colonel who had been at the Normandy invasion, and he was very passionate about what he had taken away from the military experience. So I came to VMI, very optimistic, very naive. One of the things that I shared with the cadets was, what's the number one takeaway that I had from my experience at VMI? Personal integrity, personal accountability, personal discipline. And it took me 5 or 7 years after I graduated to realize that those attributes had been instilled in me while I was at VMI, and I really didn't even recognize it until I became more mature. I am very disappointed in some of the vitriolic criticisms that have been directed at VMI. So when I hear things like, we're going to file suit against the Alumni Association, we're going to withhold donations, we're not sending our kids to VMI, I really have very little patience for it. What are you doing to improve VMI as a higher education institution of excellence? Don't try to tear it down, and don't hurt it. Don't think that you know better than our board on who should be superintendent or who should be commandant. We have people who are charged with a governance responsibility, and they make those decisions. And you may disagree, but do not disagree destructively. I never had an intention of going into what I call public service, which many people call politics, but I had a lot of encouragement. And the most encouragement I had were from some of my brother rats and VMI alum. When I was running against the second most senior senator who was in office at that time, the VMI family was instrumental in getting me elected when probably nobody in Virginia thought that I could defeat the second most senior senator. General P. Well, when he became superintendent, and I had been blessed to position myself strategically within the Senate of Virginia, particularly as it related to budgetary issues, he and I formed a partnership. And we were committed that if we were going to continue to attract extraordinary cadets, men and women alike, that we needed to improve the capital facilities of VMI. Our nation, politically and policy-wise, is in a state of chaos. VMI is instrumental in trying to push back on those attitudes. We produce well-rounded, well-educated leaders, and we need to try to propagate that beyond Lexington, Virginia, beyond Virginia on a national basis, and we desperately need to send our graduates out as disciples carrying what they have learned and embraced at VMI.
you.